Hello. I haven't done this for quite some time, so I'm going to ask you all to bear with me. If you can see this, and I'll give people a bit of time. If you can see it, thumbs up or comment any questions around this topic. I'll answer them like when you post a comment on the video. I also don't know how long it's going to go for. And if you see cats, well, it's my house, it's normal. Hey, Doc. So, cool. And hey, Dylan. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this is you would say that I have recently posted and like a photo that I've edited, and which is now my cover pic. If you click on it, it'll show you the full picture. It actually took me such a long time because I tried to do it on my phone to make a collage, but it wouldn't do it all. So I used a program on my computer. I can't remember what it's called. Could be PixArt or something like that. Anyways, so a few days ago, I shared a post around ending the stigma around mental illness, psychiatric disorders, addictions, all that kind of stuff. It's a conversation that that should be continued to be engaged in. It is a conversation where stigma shouldn't be associated with, but stigma, shame, guilt, disgust, all of those things, unfortunately, still plays a part of it. For those who do speak about their mental illnesses and stuff like that, I hate the term illness, but you know, we aren't looking to be stigmatized about it. So when we open up the conversation, it's like, you know, I've got such and such, and like, you know, you may be trying to relate with someone, you may be trying to just have a general conversation around it, but you get people who will be like, oh, they've got depression or something like that. I won't hang out with them because they're no fun or anything like that, which is rather sad to hear. Or they'll, like, you know, we may, because of our mental health issues, it may have an impact on our life. So it could be things like with depression, eating disorders, anxiety, anything, borderline personality disorder, whatever it is, or comorbidity of such. Whatever it is, it can impact your daily living. So getting out of bed can be really, really hard. Having a shower could take a couple of days before you decide that, like, you know, okay, I need to do this for myself. Brushing your teeth, getting out of the house, talking to people. You could withdraw because it's so detrimental. It's so, it takes up a lot of energy. I know for me, I could just want to stay in bed all day or for a couple of days or so, because I feel so dysfunctional. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to acknowledge that the world around me exists. And it's not to say that I'm selfish or anything like that. It's the fact that it can be so overwhelming and take so much energy to do anything. Something that I want to bring up around ending the stigma is around accessing help. So there is still stigma in the health industry around accessing appropriate support. Even for me, like, I've gone to doctors, and like, if I can't access my regular GP, I'll be like, okay, well, let's say first available. So I may be going in to get blood results and stuff associated to things like my eating disorder, or it could be around just seeing where my iron levels are at or anything like that, because I feel lethargic. Like, I may have felt lethargic for such a long time and thinking, okay, I need to get this checked out. And so it'll take like weeks before I decide to go to a doctor about it. But then you do, and then you know, okay, well, I've got to go back in a couple of days later to get my results. So this is something that's actually happened to me. My GP had left early for the day, and I decided, all right, I'll say first available. I was still lucky to get a female, but unfortunately, she put me down, and I had work afterwards. Like, I was seeing the GP before I'd go to work because it was convenient. I had the time to do it. And this doctor, so getting my results back and stuff, I had questions around my results. So I asked these questions and stuff, and then she's like, "You don't look like you have an eating disorder to me. You don't look thin," and that crushed me. It's like, you have no idea. Like, go through my file. My regular GP actually understands so much, and she doesn't put me down in any way. She provides me with the support that I need. So those words stuck in my mind all night, even while I was at work, just having tears and intrusive. Sorry. Wait. Okay. I had intrusive thoughts, like, on my way to work. I was walking thinking that I'd be okay. But then it's like, the disordered part of me decided to kick in before having to do work. And it was so bad because it was like, okay, I don't look like I have an illness. I don't look sick. So therefore, I can keep pushing myself until I do look sick. And then maybe that way, I will get the help that I need. You don't have to look a certain way to have an illness. These illnesses are invisible. You can't see it. But they still impact you. They impact your psychological health, your physical health, your social well-being, your ability to do things on a day-to-day basis that will be normal for you, your capacity. It weakens your capacity to do anything that you usually would throughout the day. And for me, for quite a few days after having that GP say that to me, I was like, nah, I need to push myself because I'm not sick enough. I don't need support because I'm not sick enough. But in fact, I knew I needed the support. The healthy part of me knows that I need to continuously be in recovery and access treatment so that these illnesses no longer impact my life. Like, I'm training to be a counsellor, and I need to be able to stay in the present moment and focus on what clients are saying to me, and so that I can, provide the support that reflects back to the clients and all that kind of stuff. And I can't do that if I'm constantly blacking out, if my health isn't there 100%, like if I'm not healthy. If my hospitalizations, I was there this week because of my eating disorder. You name it, like, I need to be recovered so that I can effectively work with these clients in the future. So that's one of the things that still bothers me this day is when, you know within yourself when your mental health is impacting you. And it sucks when you try and reach out for support. Like, you could be in hospital, you could be at your GP, you could be talking to friends and family or whoever it is, and you're trying to reach out for support, but they invalidate you. You know how much that can hurt. And it's like, okay, so sometimes you can brush it off, but other times it psychologically impacts you. And that's where we need to continually break the stigma around conversing around mental illness and stuff. There's another thing through previous conversations that I've had, and this is also around one of my illnesses. So I have borderline personality disorder on top of everything else if you check my cover pic. And because there is very limited training and support for BPD, it can be very hard to get the efficient treatment that you need. So if you go to a psychiatric hospital for BPD, they won't actually keep you there longer than 48 hours. And okay, so it's a horrible place to be anyways. But hey Charlotte, it's a horrible place to be. Having to be watched 24/7, thinking that they're gonna end up committing suicide, or they're gonna self-harm while they're here, or anything could happen. They don't actually look at you as a person, and that really, really sucks. They just see it as, we'll have them here while they're in crisis mode, and then we'll just send them off. It's like, we'll give them diaz to help them sleep and stuff. We'll make sure they don't hurt themselves while they're here. 24 to 48 hours afterwards, they send you off without the support that you need. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, we'll connect them to the mental health team for follow-up. Sometimes that follow-up can be really, really good. Other times, it doesn't help at all. Okay, Doc, I personally can't say, but we have diagnosed and undiagnosed illnesses. You know yourself best. If you feel that you've got something wrong with you, it doesn't fit with you, then it's something that, like, you know, you may need to go to your GP first, and then from there, whether it's referrals or like seeing a psychologist and that kind of stuff. You're an awesome guy though, so that's awesome. Like, I will never lose respect for you, never. But yeah, it just really sucks how the healthcare system, like, they palm off so many people. And it really, really sucks because, like, we need that support. Like, we go to access a place so that we can get treatment. And when they say, oh, you're not sick enough, or you're too complex, that's another thing that I hate. I get palmed off because I'm too complex. And that makes you feel so much worse. It's like, okay, well, it's either, which one is it? I'm not sick enough, or I'm too bad for you. It's like, you know, there's so many of us that fall between the cracks. There's so many gaps in the system still, and that's why we need to continue to talk about things. So not that, like, you know, even if it's not like a healthcare professional, like, you know, you don't always need to talk to like a counsellor or a caseworker or something like that. It's good to have those in your treatment team. But if you have people that you trust, like friends, close friends, family members, teachers, something like that, like, you know, if you can build up your support around, like, you know, your personal support, and you keep talking about things, then that will also help you. I'm not saying that, like, don't have professional support, because it is important to maintain your recovery. But it's about finding the right people to help you. And also around that, with the stigma and stuff like that, just because, and this has happened to me before, like, I have a psychologist and you clash. And so because things are complex and stuff, they decide that they can't work with you. It makes you feel so crap. Don't stop there. It's like, you know, don't give up on yourself, on your recovery, just because like one person doesn't feel that they can support you. Seek out further support. Get a second opinion. You will find someone, or maybe if you need a few people, a few professional supports, whatever it is, like a doctor, psychiatrist, a psychologist, a social worker, support groups, whatever it is. And whatever, it doesn't matter how much support that you need, like how many different clinicians that you need. They all have a specific role within a treatment plan. But the point is, like, you know, don't give up because one person says like something that's triggering for you, or that invalidates you in a way that makes you feel that you can't be supported, or it makes you just want to give up on recovery altogether. Because you're not going to get better that way. Like, you'll continually go down because you feel that I can't help myself, no one else is willing to help me, so I'm a hopeless cause. I'll admit I've felt like that quite a few times. And so it'll put me in a downward spiral with my mental health and stuff like that, and it's not pleasant at all. And so if you've got if you have a comorbidity of illnesses as well, like physical and mentally and stuff, like, you know, if they all impact you at the same time, you know it, you feel it. And so, like, for me, it's like, you know, I'll just sleep the day away, or the next two, or whatever it is. I don't want to be around people. I will withdraw. I won't eat. I'll get too much sleep. And then when I go to exercise, because I haven't done anything, so I want to feel a sense of accomplishment, I might overdo it, and then I end up back in hospital. But yeah, it's something that, like, I'm just so passionate about breaking down the stigma, getting into the helping profession, and just, like, you know, continuing that movement of it's okay to talk about things. It's okay to reach out for support. It's okay not to feel okay. And it's okay to have those days that you don't want to talk about it, you don't feel that people will understand, you just want to be on your own, and that's okay as well. We have days where, like, we're okay, we're in the middle, and things are really bad. And so you need to understand where your peak is. So if you think about a curve bell, so we start off here, and it's like, yeah, things are okay. And you start to go up. That's where your distress where you start going into distress, you need to understand, or you need to acknowledge or have insight around when you're reaching that peak. So when you're starting to go up the curve, it's like, okay, something's not right here. What is it? Is there something that I can do to minimize that peak? Because when you reach that peak, you're at the top. That's of distress. You can go into crisis mode. You can do things that are unhealthy for yourself. Suicidal attempts, self-harm, substance abuse. There's so many things that could happen while you're up here. And when you're up here, it can be really, really hard to reach out and be like, hey, I'm not okay. So you need to check in, like, you know, where am I at here? And so once you get up here, like the top of the curve, it gets really, really exhausting. And so what happens when you go down and you go up, you're going to go back down and you'll crash. And so when you get back to the bottom of the curve, it's like, well, you're mentally and physically exhausted. So then you might go back and sleep. You might need to re-energize, refuel. So sleeping, eating, trying to get back into normal habits. And that's where it's like, you know, you need to look after yourself. You need to nourish yourself. You need self-compassion, self-care. But then, you know, at professional sports, whatever it is, getting a friend to take you out. If you've got animals, cuddling up to your animals or your children or whatever it is. Doing things that you enjoy. But then you want to keep it back at your baseline. So when you notice that, like, you know, you could be going great for a while, or the curve could actually start to increase again. But what you want to do is try and maintain a steady level. So things that you can do to help yourself in that state is, like, you know, apart from talking about things, because it is very important to open up the conversation, to break down the stigma. Things that you can do for yourself without even thinking about it, things that are enjoyable, that don't take up too much energy. You can do hours on end and feel okay about it, because it's like, hey, I'm in that flow, I'm distracted, I'm feeling okay. So for me, I could be drawing for a good 8 hours and it makes me feel amazing. Like, I put music on in the background and I'm drawing. My cats don't appreciate it, because it's like I'm ignoring them, but I'm just trying to look after my mental health. So, but it's about keeping yourself at bay, especially when you're feeling moments of distress. So when you feel like you're coming up here, it's like, okay, I need to do something for myself. What can I do for myself? Will music distract your mind with the intrusive thoughts that fleet? Will drawing, going for a walk, as long as you can remain safe, getting some sunlight, whether it's photography, instruments, whether you play an instrument, cuddling up to cats, hanging out with friends, cooking if you like to cook, rearrange furniture, go online shopping if you've got the money, or if you don't have the money, even better, window shop online. So it's like, you know, you can make a list of things that, like, you know, when you get your own place, or even for your house, like looking at things like furniture, wall decor, all that kind of stuff that you would fantasize to have in a really nice place that you could call your own. Another thing, like, I'd show you, but I need to clean my house, so I'm not going to move my phone and stuff. Yeah, so I've got a wall with positive affirmations. And when I'm really, really down, I need to get back into this. Because literally it's right in front of me. So when I feel really, really vulnerable, I might read them out to myself and read them out loud and say them over and over again until I feel more confident, until I feel a bit more better. And then, like, you know, I might move on to, like, housework, or talking to someone, or going for a walk, having a shower, whatever it is that you do for yourself. So things like, I've got a couple of affirmations I have is, like, one day at a time. You've got to take it one day at a time. Or if it's, like, you know, hour by hour, minute by minute, whatever it is that you need for yourself, especially in times of distress. But take things one day at a time. Today you may feel shit, but tomorrow you may be feeling a bit better, and then it might get better along the way. Other things like, you know, I will stay strong and I will survive. We're all warriors here. It's a battle with mental illness. it's something that, like, you know, it takes up a lot of energy, a lot of strength to be able to get through the day. Like for me, like work and study and other commitments, it's like, you know, I may look really, really strong and look like I've got my shit together. And I'll go out, I'll go study and stuff. I'll spend all day there and get through my assessments. And I may look like I'm okay. But it's such a battle trying to ignore those fleeting thoughts. Ignore urges like of self-harm or anything like that. Like, you know, it can be such a battle to just like ignore that and focus on what you're doing. Other things, I have one that I'm still trying to get my head around and actually believe. So one says, I have come to believe that caring for myself is not self-indulgent. Caring for myself is an act of survival. And it is. Every day we're trying to survive. And when it comes to mental health, and it doesn't matter what you have, and I'm not saying that to invalidate anyone. Like we, you know, there are such a wide, diverse range of mental illnesses, and they are all important. But yeah, it can be so hard if you've got voices, and voices don't have to be just like, you know, psychosis and stuff like that. Like, you know, depression can have voices, eating disorders, anxiety, any kind of mental illness, they will have voices. And, you know, it could be like, you know, oh, you're not good enough. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You're not worth it. Exactly, Kenny. It's in our biology to survive. Like, it's a mechanism to get through. And, like, you know, when you have anxiety or PTSD or whatever it is, you're out and you're fending for yourself. So you go into 3 different modes when your amygdala is like really heightened. You can go into flight, fight, or freeze. And for me, I go into 2 of those. So I could freeze or flight. I'll be out of there. But first I might be like, you know, like a deer in the headlights. Like, it shines on me and I'm just like, what do I do? Like, I'm frozen in fear or whatever it is. I'm just like, but then it's like, I'll bring myself back to it and it's like, I need to move. So it could be when I'm on my walk, or it could be anything, a person that's talking to me that I don't want to talk to me. And you get yourself out of there because you need to keep yourself safe. So mentally and physiologically, the act of survival will be like, you know, we need to do something. Other people get like adrenaline and like, you know, to fend for themselves. So they'll physically, with the adrenaline, it's like, I'll punch you in the face or whatever it is to get you away from me because I'm not going to put up with this. But yeah, for me, it's either like I will freeze or I will flight. I will get the hell out of there. Another thing that affects me is disassociation. And that could come up with things like depression, my BPD, like, you know, I've overly stressed out, like I've had too much information, like it could be at uni, too much information, overload, the content, whatever it is, and you could completely space out. You feel so small inside, everything around you is still, but you feel completely powerless, like you can't do anything. And so sometimes it could be really mild, where it's like, you know, just a couple of seconds to a minute or whatever. And you don't realize when you're in that moment, and then you come back to reality. Other times it can be rather catatonic, and it could be like maybe hours that you're like, you know, you're spaced out and you can't do anything. But you need to bring yourself out of that and back into a safe environment. So what you can do with that is grounding techniques. So allowing yourself to know you're in the here and now, that you are safe, things are okay. So going through your senses. Name 5 things that you can see around you, 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you can feel, and keep going down until it's one of each, because that'll allow you to see that, like, you're okay, you're safe, you're in your own environment, no one can hurt you. So that's something that can really help when you're in a disassociative state. I don't really know where I'm going with this video, but I haven't done a mental health awareness video series for such a long time, so if anyone has any feedback on videos that they want to see, put them in the comments. I'll also go back through my videos to see what I've done, and like write down ideas from you guys or things that I say, hey Rose, things that I've seen, like that I've done, and like, you know, what I feel like doing afterwards. I'd like it to be collaborative. I'd like your feedback, whether you have questions around a certain topic, whether it's a certain illness, mental health illness, whatever concern, issue, whatever you want to call it, accessing supports, things in society that concern you, anything. It's about bringing awareness and breaking down the stigma. That's the whole reason why I do these. Yeah. So, hang on, I need to open that. Okay. So, can you ask a question around what it means to invalidate someone? So everyone can take it differently, but you may not think that you're invalidating someone by what you say. But give you an example from what I used beforehand with going to the doctor. I know I have these problems, and I am coming to you for support. And so they'd be like, "Oh, we don't look like you have this." And it's like, well, I know myself. I've been diagnosed with this. I've been in recovery and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, and so they put you down for it. They leave a negative connotation around your capacity, around your ability to do things. It could be around anything. It could trigger someone, lead them to feel down. Invalidation is practically giving someone the impression that they're no good at anything, really. Okay, so it could be my artwork in particular. So it's like, you know, I'm like, oh, I spent hours doing this and I really love it, and it's symmetrical and everything, and people are like, no, you fucked up, you can't do this. Like, you know, you've wasted your time and stuff like that. So apart from putting them down, you're invalidating their skills. You're invalidating what they know and what they can do. That's probably the best way that I can put it. So yeah, I'm going to open the platform. Not many people I'm aware are watching this, but yeah, I'm going to keep the platform open for a little bit. So if you've got questions, concerns, queries, statements, comments, anything, then I invite you to comment. And if I can answer anything, or if I come up with anything further that I want to talk about, then awesome. If not, I'm going to give it a few minutes longer before I wrap it up, because it is my data. But yeah, all in all, it's about I'm just really, really passionate about working in mental health and making sure that people feel confident and comfortable enough to continue the conversation around mental health and breaking down the stigma. Because yes, in society we have come a long way from back in the day with the Burdekin report and the Richmond report and stuff like that, where everything is considered, anything that is out of what they perceived as normal was an illness, and you were hospitalized and institutionalized and all that kind of stuff. And there didn't really have to be a reason for it. So we have come a long way in that, but we still need to go that bit further. So yeah, I'm passionate about even conversations with myself. It's like, you know, I'll talk about my illnesses. I'll talk about what I've done to get through those times. Yeah, there have been times where I haven't been able to get through healthily. And I can talk about that. I'm not ashamed. It's been a part of me for many years. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you need to keep going. We need to keep pushing for equal, if we want to go there, equal rights around accessing support. That could be interpreted in so many ways, and I'm just meaning that everyone deserves the same quality of respect and dignity around their mental health as well as their sexual health and their physical health and stuff, their social well-being, their physiological well-being, their psychological well-being, education, employment. There you go. There's another thing. When you're trying to get into work, or you might find it hard to talk to your boss because you're having a hard time with your mental health, and you might not be able to come in, and so you need a mental health day. and they don't understand what's going on for you, or it's like, you know, you might get a little bit of time and they may understand, and then you get back to work, and then it all just comes crashing down. So, and you may not want to talk to your colleagues about it, but word gets around. And so, like, you know, there could be discrimination in the workplace around mental health and seeking support and, like, you know, your ability to function and such. And so you might end up losing your job because they're ignorant. So that's something that still needs to be worked on, and there are training for professionals, whether it's mental health or not. It could be any industry, but around educating the workforce around how to support colleagues with mental health. So preventing burnout, providing them with support, all of that. And there's another comment, so I need to click on that. Okay, so there are anti-discrimination acts that do protect mental health issues, but it's a matter of maintaining that and feeling safe in the workforce. My last unit was around diversity and the legislations and all that kind of stuff, so my head is like pretty full with all that kind of stuff. Oh my god. There are many different acts for many different things promoting diversity in every aspect of life. But those acts aren't exactly 100% concrete. There will always be gaps somewhere, but it's about the workplace. It's about those legislations being tweaked along the way to be able to accommodate for everyone. But it is a work in progress, and I believe they need to be updated a lot more than what they are. But, you know, it fits for some, it doesn't fit for others. But yeah, leave that for the government and for your peak bodies and all that kind of stuff. It's always great to have your input around it though. So it's like, you know, this doesn't work for me, it doesn't cover this. I feel comfortable if these things were included, because for you, those things are really important, and other people may feel the same way and haven't spoken up about it. So staying silent around issues, that it could be at work, it could be at study, at home, with your friends, anywhere. But yeah, so in school even, like, you may think that like, oh, it's a stupid question or it's a stupid thing to say, so I won't ask these things. But there could be other people around you that have the same concern, but like are too afraid to speak up. So yeah, so if you can find the strength to be able to be like, you know, okay, I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable here. Hey, Lacey, I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable right now and ask this question or make this statement or whatever it is, because then others will, like, you know, those that feel the same will actually get that validation as well. Okay, so yeah, there's no such thing as a stupid question, but you may feel inside that it's stupid and not worth asking, but, or it's like, oh, it's not the right time to ask these questions and stuff like that. But yeah. Okay, Lacey, what about anxiety? I'm going to open the floor to you now. Anxiety can be such a bitch. No? I don't know if you're typing or not, or... Yeah. Ooh, I have 10 connections apparently. Awesome stuff. I don't know if people would have kept watching this whole time. Need to hire someone to drive me around, couldn't even talk to them. Yeah, it can be one of those things like with anxiety, depression, anything really, where anxiety really kicks in and becomes really loud and it cripples you. So I completely get where you feel with that. I can completely relate with you, Lacey. semicolon blank. Okay. Yeah, stranger danger anyways. Yeah. Anxiety is one of those things, like, you know, it can stop you in so many ways. Whether it's talking to people on the phone or whether it's seeing them face to face, online, anything, emails, whatever it is. And it can get to the point being like that crippling that you can't do anything, you can't leave your house, you can't work, you can't study, you can't function on anything. Even getting out of bed to have a shower and stuff like that can be, like, you know, incredibly crippling to do. And it sucks that, like, you know, illnesses like that can get in the way of our daily lives, like to be able to function, to feel human. I can understand, like, you know, feeling bad about things, but people need to realize, and this is where we need to break down the stigma around mental illness. It's not our fault that we feel the way that we do. It's not we didn't choose to have any of these illnesses. They are developed, or it's genetic. You develop them through trauma, anything. And so, like, yeah, I can say that yes, I felt ashamed and stuff like that for certain things that I may or may not have done because of, like, you know, an anxiety attack, because being in a depressive state, being in crisis or anything like that, because psychologically I wasn't well. And it really, really sucks. But, like, you know, over time, when you have insight around, like, you know, how bad things are and, like, what you need to do to help yourself, just even small conversations around things, like, or doing self-care to be able to get yourself, like, breathing exercises and stuff, bringing yourself back into the present moment. If you can get your heart rate to settle down instead of feeling like it's, like, in your throat and it's going to explode, because literally that's how it can feel. If you can settle yourself to a point where it's like, okay, I can do this bit, like, you know, this little bit, I can do this little bit, and then slowly build that up. It's a lot easier said than done. Like, I completely get that, and I'm not saying, like, you know, oh, it's like, you know, just do this now and stuff, because even for me, if someone tells me, like, whether it's my eating disorder and stuff like that, like, you know, eat, I'm not going to. I'm not going to eat just because you tell me to. It can be so crippling. And, like, you know, the voices that you get around it is like, oh, no, you don't have to do this. It's okay. You don't need to eat to survive. You don't need to do, like, you know, you're going to be watched and judged and everything. And that will stop me most of the time. Like, it's so conflicting. You wanting to do something and know that you have stuff to do, but then you can't because you've got this heavy weight telling you not to do it. You can't do it. You're not worth it. You don't have a purpose. All that kind of stuff. And it's so debilitating. It's exhausting. It's overwhelming. It's a nightmare. It's like a nightmare that you can't wake up from. And if we could just, like, you know, if you could just wake up the next morning and be completely cured and have a magic wand waved and everything was fine, that would be so fucking awesome. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Unfortunately, recovery isn't a straight line. You can't just wake up and everything is all good. It's those chemical imbalances and trauma and experiences and stuff like that that decide to hold you back. But I don't like to, like, you know, to be held back by, even though, like, yeah, it's a daily struggle for me. It is. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. Hercules, where are you? I've lost my cat, so we might have to walk. So yeah, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but you need to be able to keep doing what you can to survive. And where is he? Hex! This is bad. Video, you want back out? Hercules! Ah, all good. I found him. All right, let's talk outside. Can do that too. Welcome to my backyard. It also needs a clean, and I don't really want to hold my phone, so I don't know what to do about this. But my cat's all good. They keep me at base as well. unlike yesterday, how they stressed me out so much. But yeah, unless it is a nice day. Unless anyone has anything further, because I feel like this video is dragging on a bit. If you have any further comments, anything that you want to ask, anything like that, leave them in the comments. Feedback, that kind of stuff. I will answer your comments to the best of my ability. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there, because I will become quite repetitive, and that can be like, yeah. So main hashtag throughout my post, around my collage and stuff like that, is to end the stigma around mental illness and such. Look after yourself, take care, and yeah, let's see if we can get this mental health awareness video series back up. So post a comments around suggestions on topics, questions that you have, what video you'd like to see, and I will do my best to make a video soon. Okay. You enjoy your day, and I will, if you guys want to talk to me, you know where I am, my inbox, my number, whatever it is. Yeah, enjoy. Peace out.